I have two questions for you. One is, how do you think we're doing with the mental health and the wounds of our soldiers? And the second is, going forward in the future with the success of our military, do you think we'll maintain an all-volunteer force?
Well, that last one especially is a very profound question. First of all, on how we're doing with issues related to mental health and the invisible wounds of war, better than we were doing. For the first half of the last decade, frankly, I think we kept staring at a problem, and the more we stared at it, the less we knew about it. We've made some significant progress over the last 4 or 5 years. Not enough. And of course, we're now trying to decide, as we complete the conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan and have another generation of war veterans, we've got to make sure that as we absorb these budget cuts that affect not just the active side but also the veteran side, that we don't underinvest. And to this point, I can speak with confidence that we are maintaining our commitment to investing in that. But we can't take it for granted. As this thing gets harder and harder to balance, I suspect we will find that there's things we don't realize we've done, and that worries me a great deal. Now, the old volunteer force. Someone said to me, you're going to be known, and when people look back at this period in history, as the chairman that was faced with this incredible budget change, the change in the fiscal environment over the course of my tenure. And they said, what is it that you will have valued, or what guidepost will you have used for yourself to get from one place to the next so you don't violate the first rule of wing walking, which is never let go with both hands at the same time? And I actually have the answer to that question. There's 5 things that we cannot lose internal to the armed force of the United States. The first, in my view, is the all-volunteer force. I think the nation needs an all-volunteer force. I think it's the right answer for who we are, and provides the right quality at the right time when you need it, in order to meet the kind of threats that Leslie just managed to walk me through over the last 45 minutes. So number one, all volunteer force. Second is jointness. One of the manifestations of budget constraints is that the services can, if we're not careful, kind of close in on themselves and start to think more about what's important for their service than what's important for the joint force. Now, fortunately, I'm blessed with service chiefs who have agreed with me that we can't let that happen. But the second one is jointness. The third one is the defense industrial base. We're doing some serious damage, especially to small business. The big businesses can generally absorb it. The small businesses cannot. And so we're doing some serious damage to the defense industrial base. But one of the things I watch frequently and try to watch it constantly is whether we're affecting the DIB, the defense industrial base, to the point where if we need them, if something happens and we need to expand again, do we have the industrial base to do so? The fourth one is allies, alliances. I mean, look, there's, again, back to the tour de nightmare here that we just experienced. People say, what are you going to do about that? And I'll say, well, I'm going to go talk to NATO. And, well, why aren't you going to do it yourself? Because we can't do everything ourselves. More important, we shouldn't do everything ourselves. Honestly, we are far more effective when we have partners around us, in particular, if we can keep capable partners around us. And that's whatever part of the globe you're talking about. So we've got to stay true to our alliances, and we can't let this budget constraint begin to erode our alliances. And the fourth one is our profession. We value the fact that we live an uncommon life, we live to a certain ethos, that we have a commitment to continuing education and self-development, that we, I'll just leave it at that. I don't need to, pound my chest about what it means to be a profession. But we can't allow ourselves, in the face of these pressures, to lose those 5 things. If we can keep those 5 things, then even if we get something wrong, a weapons system, a policy, an organizational design, if I've got those 5 things, we're going to be okay.